What do you think the reaction is in any of the countries where the tariffs are being put on? Do you think that the people say, that seems fair?
We're the biggest economy on earth, and everybody else can leech off of us. And I think they're fully, aren't there countries like that?
I had a bunch of crypto news lined up for today. We're just going to cover one that I think is really big for XRP. We'll dig into it. And then we're going to look at tomorrow, because all eyes are on tomorrow. That's all that matters here in the short term, how tomorrow plays out with U.S. trade policy. Does this devolve into some tit for tat, back and forth, massive trade fight? Or do we get some sort of deals? You're not going to clear them all tomorrow, but does some start to fall in line? And does this look like it's working towards a productive path? Now, this is one of the few times where it seems like no one really knows exactly how this will play out. I've heard a lot of analysts on Bloomberg that are saying, you know what, it doesn't matter what trade deals are presented here. We're going to get tariffs. They're going to be permanent in nature, and it's just going to change everything. And that may be the case, but at the same time, if you're trying to negotiate new trade agreements, it's probably good if no one knows exactly what you're doing here. And so we're going to listen to Mohamed Ellerin. I think he's exceptional here in the way he breaks this down. He sees the world much as I do, and he pulls all the politics out of it, and he just gives you his breakdown here. And he admits at this point in time, he doesn't know exactly how this plays out tomorrow, and probably the participants, not the White House, not the other countries involved, they probably don't know exactly how this plays out at this point in time, and it's really a 50-50 endeavor now. Let's just listen to what he has to say here. This is big, and I think it's a great explanation.
Play it out.
One of two things happen. Either the rest of the world agree to a fairer trading system, and these are short-term tariffs.
And they agree how quickly?
Hopefully quickly.
Well, what does that mean, quickly? Like a week or a month or 6 months?
It'll take a few weeks, but the destination becomes clear that we're going to a fairer trading system. That's option one.
Okay.
Option two is they decide to put on their set of tariffs on us, and then we go through a few rounds of tit for tat before everybody comes.
Okay, so which one are you betting on?
I think it's a 50-50. I don't think anybody knows.
That's fascinating.
And you see this in markets. I mean,
you would think that you'd bet on the other one, your second option, I would think.
No, because I think there is a case for a fairer trading system. There is a case for a fairer distribution of defense spending. And people see that. The question is, do you get there in one round or do you get there in multiple rounds? And that's really important because ultimately, I think we're looking at a 50-50 outcome, and I hate saying this. This could be a major rewiring of the domestic economy and of the global economy, a la Thatcher, a la Reagan, where you get a more enabled private sector, streamlined government, a fairer trading system. Or alternatively, if we get tit-for-tat tariffs, we slip into stagflation, and that stagflation becomes well anchored, and that becomes problematic.
So here's the thing that
Here's the deal. The host of the show, of course, is letting political stuff bleed into his thought process here. He can't believe that possibly this could work out well. It's a coin flip. And it looks like this is going to be productive and we're going to get a fair trading system, you're going to see markets rock. And we may not know exactly tomorrow, but we'll get some clarity. What does this look like? What are they trying to accomplish? I like Mohamed Ellerin. He's saying, look, they have points here. They're not just randomly tariffing everyone. They need to rework some of these deals. And I think if we assume everyone's a rational actor, or at least most people out there, they'll probably recognize the same. I think the UK is already doing so. They're just kind of like, let's get this out of the way. Let's do some new agreements. And so we'll see how this plays out tomorrow. And again, we don't need to fix the whole world in every trade agreement, but if some start falling in line, that's going to be very helpful. And this market is going to become more hopeful. Those animal spirits will come alive again. And specifically within crypto, I think you're going to see things rock and roll, and you're going to see really a nice recovery within stocks. But he's saying, look, there's a 50-50 chance that on the flip side of that, this just devolves and people just start throwing tariffs back and forth, and it's kind of long-term in nature. We don't know at this time, and the participants probably don't know. There's a lot at stake, especially for our short-term future here within crypto. Long-term is not going to matter. This is the future. We're going to make a lot of money in these investments. But in the short term, tomorrow, that's the thing to watch. And I think he has the perfect outlook here. And I think a lot of other people we're negotiating will have a similar outlook. Of course, they will fiercely negotiate, try to get the best deal possible. Who would not? Everyone should be doing that. But I think eventually the U.S. will kind of come to the center, being a little more reasonable from their ask currently, and so will our trading partners. And I think it will work out largely. But again, it could go bad. Let's hear what he has to say.
I don't understand. If you just think about the politics of what you're talking about, the U.S. puts these tariffs on. What do you think the reaction is in any of the countries where the tariffs are being put on? Do you think that the people say, that seems fair, we're cool with this, and they put no pressure on their politicians or anybody else to do anything? That's when you say,
don't they already have tariffs? Don't they already have? They're the ones that started it. They started it.
It doesn't matter. This
Yeah,
is about the psychology of how people operate.
How can they be mad at us and say, what are these Americans doing when they've been doing it to us for 50 years?
And you think that that's how they will react?
I think that's how they'll react.
They're going to say, oh, this is totally, totally cool with this.
I think they fully know. I think they fully know we're the biggest economy on earth, and everybody else can leech off of us. And I think they're fully. Aren't there countries like that?
So the UK is definitely in your camp. The UK recognizes this. They know they're on the weak side of the argument, and they just want to get it sorted out.
You don't think India knows?
India does to some extent. Europe is the big problem. Europe
knows.
Canada knows. You think Canada knows.
I think Europe knows.
You think that Mark Carney knows.
And here's the thing, too. You got to remember. You know, the host here, I can't remember his name from CNBC, but he's very emotional here. And you know, just like, are you and I going to have any input here? That's the way he's thinking. Like, if he's doing these negotiations, like, these countries are smart, and they're going to know where that line is, and they're going to probably work out deals. It's interesting what he says, though. Europe may be a bigger problem. That there'll be spots that probably are a longer-term battle. But if we get some agreements tomorrow, that's going to be bullish. Make some progress. Don't have infinity tariff wars with everyone. Like, kind of bring it together. You know, it could be a big moment tomorrow. And I'm not going to try to tell you like I'm some geopolitical expert or some trade expert. Like, we'll have to see it play out. We'll talk again tomorrow, but that's the thing to watch. If that starts to make progress and in a big way, we're going to rock and roll really, really quick. Other than that, we probably have some, you know, wading through the muck and mire a bit till we get to where we want to go. Now, let's go over this story. This is huge for XRP. We see Grayscale files to launch an ETF for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and more. And I think this type of product really might be more popular than an XRP standalone ETF. I'm not saying that won't get any inflows. I'm sure it will be. But I think there's a lot of investors out there that are like, you know what? I want most of my money going into Bitcoin because that's the big one, whatever. But I want exposure to the broader crypto space. And something like this makes that easy. They're not myopic. They're not like, you know, ADA's the greatest or Solana's the best. Like, they just want the main coins and have some exposure to that. This is a solid investment product with a lot more upside than just Bitcoin. And I think even though XRP, we see the breakdown here, Bitcoin getting 79% of the fund, Ethereum 10.7, XRP 5.8. You know, and as XRP's market cap goes up, and if it gains on Ethereum, if it gains on Bitcoin, it'll get more and more of those dollars. You know, the money that flows into something like this could be staggering. I think this is a good product. I think you will see BlackRock, if they don't do a standalone XRP ETF, and they very well may, but if they don't, they're going to have something like this. And these types of products are going to be very popular. It's going to bring a lot of money flowing into XRP. And then people are going to look at the breakdown, and the better XRP performs, and they're, you know, having that as part of their portfolio, well, then they might start pivoting over to buying XRP direct. This is a great entrance to the market, I think. I think there's a lot of very large investors that will like this more than just buying Solana directly or Cardano directly or even XRP. This gets our foot in the door. I think gets a lot of institutional money flowing in, and we can work from there. I think this is going to be killer. And the other one is going to be staking rewards. We're going to see proof of stake protocols and ETFs where people can earn yield, and it's paid back in more crypto, not dollars. So you're getting a monthly dividend, a quarterly dividend, and more of an asset that's appreciating. Now, sometimes that asset you receive might go down as, you know, markets are in trouble. But over the long horizon, those dividends and more crypto are going to outperform dividends in dollars. It's a higher percentage than you would get from most other investments. I think that's going to be a killer product as well. Let me know what you think about this. Would you be interested in this, or you probably wouldn't be? You'd probably want to buy crypto directly. But do you think people that are on the outside looking in that want to jump into cryptocurrencies for the first time, do you think those traditional investors will like a product like this? Let me know what you think down below. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see how this trade stuff rolls out. If I was to guess, I don't think we're going to see permanent tariffs as large a scale as a lot of people are thinking. I think the end goal is just fair and better trade deals for the United States. And I think a lot of these countries will get done hopefully tomorrow. There'll be a few hot spots we have to deal with. That's okay. That's just my best guess. Again, I'm no trade expert. We will see. Let me know what you think, though. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.